Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm back with another video that is more extensive with a new installation at home. For those who do follow me with my previous videos, I made one recently about how I'm powering my house with solar panels. So I do have products that I bought from EcoFlow, which helps me power the house. So with the solar panels, the inverter, and a battery. Um, but now that I've done more research and I want to expand my system because I want to add more panels, I find that I need more batteries and I need more a stronger inverter. So I have been pleased with the EcoFlow ecosystem with their products. So I have the Delta Pro Ultra, and I used to have also the smart home panel, which worked seamlessly together in case of power outages, or even changing from grid to the inverter itself was pretty good. But obviously, those ecosystem comes with the price as well. EcoFlow is like the Apple of phones, so they're more expensive, but they do work out of the box. So now I want to go with something that's more modular, more of an Android, so you can modify anything you want, and you can build systems and scale them with cheaper prices. You can build your own batteries or even buy batteries that are pre-built. So I'll be going with a new system, which I'll be showing you guys today. And I'll be showing you guys the what I have currently and what I'll be switching into as a new installation for the house. So let me show you what I have now. So currently, for those who used to follow me, I used to have a main panel and a smart home panel from EcoFlow that was acting as a sub panel and also as a smart panel that used to do the switch between grid and the inverter that's here. So that's the Delta Pro Ultra. That's the inverter that can do 7.2 kilowatt continuous power and with a 6 kilowatt hour battery that comes with it. So that used to be plugged in with the smart home panel. But since I've sold that because I'm getting away from EcoFlow products since I want to expand, and they're pretty expensive, especially in Canada. You can't really get any real discounts, and they're very, very expensive. It's much cheaper in the States, but in Canada, the prices are just over the roof. So I'm also selling this one as well, but I just want to show you guys the setup now that I've sold the smart home panel. I'm still powering the house whenever I get electricity, solar production here and the batteries get full, but it's still a manual transfer here. So that's why you have the Delta Pro here plugged in with the generator cable. That plugs into a generator inlet and then goes to my sub panel here, which has the critical loads. So the critical loads here, everything here is the 120. So these are tandem breakers to save space, which I used to have a generator panel here, so you can switch between generator or grid. But right now I'm doing this. This is not up to code, guys, but this is a temporary installation. So as you can see, this is the 30 ampere inlet here, and this is the grid. You're supposed to have an interlock here, but since this is a temporary installation, this will be off very soon. So this is the tandem breakers, which powers the house. All the circuits, almost all the 120 volt circuits will be here. So you have your internet, you have your television, you have your lights, you have your fridge, you have your freezer, everything here. I transferred, electrician transferred from here to here, so it can run pretty much everything else. And I bought this panel because I want to keep adding more stuff eventually when I do upgrade to a bigger and more stronger system as well. This is a 200 amp service entrance panel. So this is where my utility comes in with the 200 amperes here. And as you can see, I have empty slots there for the circuits that I moved in. I do have some plates here that I'll be putting in eventually once everything is installed. And eventually I even want to move my, if I want the stove or the dryer, whichever makes sense, that can actually support with the new system I'll be installing, they'll be there too. So this is the one that I'll be powering with the new system. The new system will go here. It'll be an inverter, and there's going to be a big battery here. And the Tesla wall charger will be moved a little bit, which will also be powered by the new system as well. So yeah, so that's the setup I have now. Delta Pro Ultra with a generator inlet and the sub panel. So now let me show you what I'll be installing. So Christmas came in early today. So received my pallet from Signature Solar. So we have the 16 kilowatt hour battery here. We have the EG4 12000XP, the version 2. So that's their latest one here. So version 2 with 15,000 AC output with the solar input. And then we have the Conduit box as well. So yeah, just got this today. Very excited to install this, get this set up with the electrician. So I'm just getting the place ready here. As you could see, what I used to have with the generator inlet, the sub panel. So all this will be switched to the battery will go here. The inverter will go here. The inverter will power the sub panel. I'll put in the generator inlet within the inverter as well as emergency if I need it. And this will be plugged into the smart port of the inverter so I can shut off excess battery power, electricity to the EV charger that I have here, which is a Pion Power here charger as well. And this one's actually pretty good in Canada. It pays to charge, so that means they give you money if you're using the charger. So yeah, so that's the setup I'm going to show you guys today. So I just removed the plastic wrapping that was on it. So it's very well wrapped with these straps as well, the green straps. And they put the heavy stuff at the bottom. So the battery, the inverter, and the conduit box on top. So this comes straight from Texas. So from Texas to Montreal, Canada. So this was done through ground shipping. So yeah, it traveled a lot through a lot of states. And it came through, I believe, Ontario, and then finally here in Montreal, Quebec. Had to clear customs as well. I had to pay duties on this. But yeah, it'll be worth it. So let me slowly unpack these, show you guys the unboxing, showing you guys what's inside. And I will slowly start putting this here so the electrician can come and wire everything together. So the goal is to get 100 amperes from here to the inverter, and then from the inverter then 100 amps to the sub panel here, running with a 2 gauge wires in here, and then the battery will be at the bottom here. So I just have to make sure everything is set up, and yeah, so let's start this. So I managed to open the battery. So I think this is the old model, where this is groove here. Yeah, this seems to be for the old model, but since they're the same size and same dimensions, I guess they're reusing what they have. So good padding here. So here you go. You got the battery here, the 16 kilowatt hour. So we have, what do you have here? You have connection for the negative and the positive here. So this is good. And another set here. So I guess if you want to put them in parallel or series, so you have 2 sets here. And then that's it, nothing else. Actually, no, you have some other stuff here. All right, I guess you can put these to actually help lift it. Anything else? And you also have an antenna, so might be maybe for Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. So that's that. You have the communication cable here, Cat 6 1.5 meters, and this is probably for mounting. Okay. I don't see anything else here, and nothing else in here except a rope here, probably to make it easier to get it out. So yeah, so this is what comes in the battery, the 16 kilowatt hour EG4 indoor battery. So no more screen, guys, but you do have an indicator here for the capacity, how much it is at, 25, 50, 75, and 100 here. All right, so I'm gonna try to lift this up and put it right there. So I moved the battery to the wall. I do have this conduit here that I might have to move because it's not going flush to the wall. So I'll have to double check with that what I'm gonna do. Came out pretty easily. I did get some help from my brother, so that was a little easier. And so now I'm opening the inverter itself. Let me just zoom out and show you guys. So it's the first time opening it. Let's see what's inside. I believe this might be the template. So yeah, so that's the template. I guess comms cable here. Okay, this is some hardware to actually bolt the actual support here, and then this is probably for the sides. All right, so let me just put these away so I can show you guys the inverter. Obviously the manual is here too. Nope. Please inquire your local supplier for customer code during registration. Okay. Probably the dongle, the Wi-Fi dongle in here. And let's pull this up. There you go. That's the 12000XP V2. All right. Okay, so let me start planning the installation for this one. I'll be mounting it here. So once I have the bracket on, I'll put it on top. But at first I have to also figure this out first so I can align the conduit box that's going to come here, which I have to build. So once the battery is set up properly, I'll be able to set up the inverter as well. So that's next. So now that the battery is installed there, I leveled it as well because my floor goes down, so it needs to be leveled perfectly. So that's done. And the actual bracket in the back, it's basically for it to not to tip. So most of the weight should be on the actual feet. It is really, even says in the manual, don't put all the weight on the wall. It needs to be also spread on the feet as well. In this case, no one comes in the garage. Chances of tipping is pretty slim to none. So I've just adjusted the feet so far so it could be leveled. So that's done. Eventually, I'll see into mounting it to the wall as well, but not for now. I just want to do the installation and see how everything's going to be. So next step is to build the conduit box that I bought as well. So let's just open it. I just opened the box, but I haven't checked what's inside. So this is the back. I got some, what is this, grommets? Yeah, so a few in there. And then some screws. Let's check this. By the way, the padding and the covers, I mean, to protect everything is pretty awesome. Okay, so this seems to be possibly the front. Let's put that aside. And then this should be maybe the top. Yeah, so this is pre-drilled. So hopefully it fits the 12,000 XP. If not, I also got the other one here too. This is pretty tough with one hand, but I'm going to try my best. And then you got maybe the bottom. Yeah, so this should be the bottom where the battery connections will happen. And then this will be the top to the inverter. And then you also have the sides here. Okay, so I'm going to start building this and then put it on top of the battery here. So to start building, you can build it apart and then put it on top here. But I think I'm going to start building it directly on top here. So you have to remove these 4 screws here. And then that's what's going to go on top here. This should align. And this is very well indicated. This is the back and this is the front. As you can see, the holes align with the screws. So here, 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 and here. So I'm going to start building it on top here. Might be easier. So the conduit box is done. It was fairly easy and it's totally doable on top of the battery as well. And the screws in the back, I just want to make sure I show you guys. So everything else is the flat screws. So outside here, 3 of them, 2 here, 2 flat, and 3 here. The inside ones are the ones with the washer. So you want to make sure that the inside one here are with the washer. So those are the different screws that you have to use. So don't make that mistake. I actually did it. I didn't read the instructions and I put them on top. But for the top, it's actually the flat ones. And I thought I was going to be stuck trying to screw it in the back, but it actually screws in from inside here. So yeah, so this is the conduit box. Now I have to see exactly what kind of hole I want to punch in here. These are already pre-punched holes, so I just want to make sure which ones I want to pass the cables first. So after the electrician can come and actually wire all of this. So battery is positioned, the conduit box is built on top, and I even started doing the conduit for this. As you can see, everything is opened up. So this is where the load will be powering the sub panel, and this is where the hydro utility power will come in here. So that's the grid power that's going to go in here, and I put this for the 12,000 XP. It's really hard because my studs are really here and there. I'd have no choice but to put this board here and then afterwards putting the bracket. So you have to make sure that the arrow is facing up. So this is leveled, and I'm now ready to take this, the 12,000 XP version 2, and putting it on the wall. So I've used the template here. So the template that you put on top of the battery. So just let me show you here really fast. So you put the template like this, and it's supposed to match with the bracket at the top. And really important, the arrow needs to face up. I know it's counterintuitive because the way the groove is, but that's how it goes. There you go. But before putting it up, I'm just gonna punch those holes, the ones I actually need, because it might be easier instead of doing it from up there once it's hooked on. So I'm just gonna do the battery, so plus minus, you have the comms, you have the load. The gen, I'm still not sure yet, and the grid and the PV as well. So pretty much all of them, except the comm, maybe I might just do one of them. All right, so let's get to it. To open this up, there are 4 screws that you have to remove. So you have 1, 2, and then you have on the other side, you have 1 and 2 on the other side. So everything is installed for the electrician to come and wire this. So as you can see, I have the inverter mounted on the plate. I have the battery here, conduit box. I just mounted this just slightly higher, so slight space here, but this is perfectly acceptable in my opinion. So just a little bit here, like I would say half an inch, almost an inch. And the piping here, the conduit from here to the load panel. And this is, well, sub panel, and this is the utility. So I'll be tapping in from the utility to come here, go into the grid. Then from the load, it's gonna go through here and then power this sub panel here. 2 options here. I can use the 100 amperes here, a breaker that's connected here if I want, but I'll have to tie it down to the actual panel here, or I have the actual bolts here that I can use directly, but that's going to be up to the electrician to do this. And for this one here, it's a 100 amp breaker right here that's being used right now to power this sub panel. So that's going to be coming from here. I'll also have to bring in solar. I do have some solar cables coming in, so I'll have to wire that in here so I can plug them here. And the battery, I do have the battery cables that came with this battery, but it doesn't come with the ferrule. So I have to get the ferrules so I can actually crimp them and then actually put them in, because once I put them in, I'm worried this might actually break the strands, because they're very fine strands. So in this case, I'd rather put some ferrules, crimp them, and then after use it here. All right. And for the smart load, I'll be using the 1450 plug in this case. So the 1450 plug, NEMA 1450 for the smart EV charger, and that's gonna go here. So that's pretty much to shut off all the excess load if I have any from the battery, so I can actually charge the EV. All right, so what's missing is pretty much getting this wired. So the neutral, the ground, and the loads. Just one quick thing here. In some other reviews, I've seen that sometimes the neutral is connected here, and by removing this, you actually remove the bond to the inverter. And I don't see anything else here. So I think this version has been modified, or it's just better, or maybe it was always like this for the 12000 XP. But I know some EG4 inverters, the first one here has a connector going to the inverter and making a bond. I think that's what this one's being used now. So you can use all of these actually. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here that can actually be used to connect your neutral here. And then you have the ground here. All right. So I'll get back to you guys once I do the connections. So the electrician is coming today. So I just want to make sure at least the battery connection part is done to the inverter. So before doing so, just want to show you guys what you get. You get a pair of positive and a pair of negative. And in this case, they come pre-cut here, and you just have to remove the plastic here. And then after, you're left with these strands here. You can put this in the inverter. The only issue is since you have to tighten it a lot, sorry for the focus guys, since you have to tighten it a lot, you might actually break the strands here. So that's what I'm worried about. So I got a few ferrules here. So this one is for, I believe, 2 gauge. I think 2 gauge or this one, or I just want to double check because I got the actual proper size. So it's the size for the battery here. I think this is going to help because clearly once you put that on and you crimp it, it's going to be a solid connection. And it's just going to be better overall installation. The only issue is you need a special crimping tool for this, and I do not have one. And I've been looking over on Amazon. They're like over $60, and this is going to be a one-time use. So I wasn't sure if this was a good investment. So there's a few options. I can put this in and actually torque it, and just the torquing effect itself will actually crimp this, which is one possibility. But I also have battery terminal crimper that I bought this a long time ago. So this is a manual one. It's a hammer crimper. It might work, so I'm just gonna try this. It's not made for this. This is made for battery terminals, not for ferrules. But I'm not sure if it might work. So I'm just gonna try it out. If it does work, then that's good. If not, I'm just gonna put the ferrule and just torque it directly into the inverter terminal, and that should also do a proper connection. All right, so I'm gonna try with this first, and then afterwards we'll see the results. The challenge will be putting this in here. I know the ones that comes with the plastic sleeves are a little better because they actually make it a little easier because the sleeves are bigger and then everything just goes in. This one I might have to fight against it. So wish me luck. So that literally took 2 seconds. It was fairly easy. It just went in very easily. So you want to do this right away after you remove this. Or else they tend to kind of expand a little bit and go in different directions. So don't touch it. Once you take out that plastic sleeve here, just put the ferrule in, and then look, everything just got in, and it's pretty neat. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to crimp it in the crimping tool, and let's see the results. So I hammered it on one side and seems to have done a solid connection. Wow, that's not bad actually. Yeah, so this is pretty good. So I'll see, I might actually give it a little bit another hit on the other side too, but pretty solid connection. I don't think it's gonna come off. And it was just one hit, one strong hit with this and the hammer here. All right, so if this works out, I'm just gonna do this for all the other 3. So I managed to pass the wires here. So the 2 positive here, they're supposed to go here, and the 2 negative batteries here. Cable that's supposed to go here, and that's connected here. So I looped it around here. Since the hole is here, I just looped it so it could be a cleaner installation. And the red ones are already further away, so I just looped it there, and they all go up here. And with the ferrule here with the proper connection, so I tapped them actually on both sides, and they're pretty solid. Like I mentioned, it's not the most ideal way to do this because it's better to do it with a proper crimper. A hydraulic crimper would be good, but I had the manual one with the hammer one. Still does the job. But the thing that that bothered me the most, because I had every tool, it's this. I really underestimated this. I thought everything I had would work, but nothing worked. So just let me show you guys. This is what I use. I use a torque wrench here, and with different Newton meters here, and even I think on the other side you have pound here. Yeah, so you have different settings here, which really work for me for everything, except the sizes. So I had hex bit 6 and 8. The 6 didn't work for the battery, and the 8 didn't work for the battery. So I used them here, they didn't fit. The 6 was too small and the 8 was too big. So I ended up going and I got the 7. Well, guess what? 7 is still too small. So I think I should not go with metric and go with the other SE in this case. So I'm gonna go back to Home Depot, and this time, and I actually took this off. So I'm going back to Home Depot now, and I actually took out the lug. So I'm like, I'm not messing this around next time. I've done enough trips to Home Depot to actually get all these every single time I'm missing something. So I'm just bringing the lug here, and I'm gonna get the right size for this. So just whoever's doing the installation here, if you don't have all the tools, well, make sure you have this. It's just, it's a bummer. Because it's usually bigger than the ones, usually in different panels as well, the electrical panels. So yeah, and I didn't have this. And I really thought I had all the tools necessary, but I didn't. Like, these are all fine. These are in regular toolkits. I think they're like less than 10, the different sizes. But yeah. Anyways, so that's one thing. So I'm just gonna go back to Home Depot and get the other size that actually fits this, and we'll be done with the battery installation, and I'll show you the whole installation afterwards, what the electrician did as well. So I'm at Home Depot now, and this is the one I got. And I'm gonna try the 516. That's the last one. Yep, it does fit. So it is 516, guys, for the battery terminal. So back home, put the terminal back. Finally got my 516 here, and my torque wrench here. So for the battery here, it is 22.6 Newton meters, which is roughly, I think, 200 inch-pound. But you have this in the manual, and depending on the cable gauge as well, depending if you have a 4/0 or 2/0. So this one is a 2, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, so you have 2/0, this one. So let's put this in, and then I'm just gonna tighten them up. So I open them up to the max. Let's try to make it as nice as possible. And I'm trying to film this at the same time. So clearly not the best way. So let me try to do this with this hand. Okay, goes in, but it's a little tight because I think because I need to push it a little down here. Yeah, here you go. That's the little tug you needed. So you want to make sure you go all the way in, and then after you start tightening, and I'm going to do for each one of them too. All right, once I'm done, I'm going to tighten this, and then let's continue the rest of the setup. So the battery connection is done. When you tighten it, since it's really, you have to torque it to spec, these might actually move. So you can just loosen it a little bit and then straighten it back and then just tighten it again. Make sure you actually tighten, this actually falls on the ferrules and not the actual strands, or else you'll just make a mess. And it was actually easy to put in. I just didn't I didn't open them fully, so that's why it was a little stuck. So make sure you fully open it, and then it just goes in very easily. So now that's done, pretty much all the connections are done to the inverter. So we have 2 positive, 2 negative, the comms cable that goes here, it's connected. So the battery connection is done. You have the load that I'm going to show you later. You have the neutral that's coming in from the grid. You have also the ground that's coming from the grid. You have these two coming in from the grid as well, which I'll show you later. And the last step would be the solar power, the DC connection, which I still haven't run any conduit yet because the wires are all the way in the back there. So that's the last step, but I'm still gonna commission this without the solar just to set everything up. and then eventually I'll add solar and I'll do another video, but at least everything is ready for the solar to come in. So that's it's going to be another time. The only thing left here, so everything is done, is the grounding here. So this is only grounded to the actual conduit box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have to ground the battery as well to the inverter here, which in this case is grounded to the utility there. So there's no wire that comes with this. So what I have is I had some old welding cable here. So this is 4-gauge pure copper flexible cable here. So which I have. And since I have some ferrules here, which actually match 4-gauge here, I'm going to use one of this. So one of the ferrules. And then on the other end, I'm going to put a battery terminal. And since I have my hammer crimper here, so I'm just going to use that. So I'm going to use this and this. So this one is going to go right here. And then the one with the ferrule will go right here. I just want to double check if it actually fits in here. If not, I'll just have to put it straight and just tighten it. So I'll just double check the size here, but hopefully it fits in. So yeah, so that's going to be the last step. And then we can close everything up and then start commissioning this thing. And yeah, can't wait. This took quite some time. All right, so I ended up installing the ground wire here. Unfortunately, the ferrule didn't fit, so I ended up putting directly into it. The strands were strong enough to actually survive this, so I just put it directly. So just cut the plastic cover, and then afterwards I just put this, and then on this side I actually put a battery terminal, and it fits pretty well. So yeah, the setup is pretty much done. So just a quick recap. Battery here, connection is done. This one here, the comms cable here, it's connected here on the first one here on the can. This one here, it's the load. So the load, how the electrician connected it, this is a 2-gauge wire, by the way. I believe the manual says 3-gauge. I put a 2-gauge just in case. So 2-gauge copper wire here. So the electrician passes it through here. So this is the one here that's coming to the load, and it's going all the way here to the bus bar here that powers all this. So this is 120 circuits mostly, but I have one that's 240, which is the dryer. Afterwards, we have the grid. The grid is coming straight from here and all the way here, and it goes here. So you got 120, another 120, but you also have the neutral and the ground coming from the utility. So in most cases, you have to run a neutral and a ground to this panel as well. But since this panel was already connected to this, we just left it. So the neutral is still connected to the utility from here, and the ground is also being fed from here. So that's why you don't see any neutral or ground going from here to this panel. And one of the reasons why we did that is the fact that we still have a connection from here to here. It's not up to code, but that's what I did instead of putting a double throw switch here. So that means if this ever goes bad, it stops working, and I need to service it or take it out, well, I can still power this because there's a connection from here that goes all the way there and goes to this 100 ampere breaker here. So I'll put the proper identification everywhere just to make sure I can actually make sure that people don't turn this on at the same time that this is on. I'll have a lock for this, so I'll have a lock upstream. So at the breaker here, I'll put, this is a square D panel, so we'll put a breaker lock for this, so there's no way someone can actually turn on this breaker unless you open the padlock. So that's going to be done to protect this, that you don't run electricity coming from here, here, and then coming from here as well. It's just going to not a good combination. But it's going to be a backup. In case this doesn't work, I can just turn this back up on, and then I'll still have the neutral, the ground, and the two hots coming in for this. So yeah, so that's the connection. Everything is connected now. Let me just back it up and show you guys the whole setup. Everything is powered, battery, inverter, connected to the grid and the load. The only thing that's missing is the solar. Since I don't have a conduit done yet, and it's all the way in the back, I'll have to run a conduit here and then connect solar here, but that's going to be for another video. And what's left is also the 1450 that needs to be connected to the smart load here, which I'll just do later on. It's just the wire's already there. It used to be there, as you can see. This is where it used to pass there. And then I'll just pass it through here, the conduit, and then just pass it and connect it here. All right, so let's commission this and see how it goes. So before I start powering this battery up, just forgot to mention that you have to put the Wi-Fi dongle here. So it's just a connection at the bottom here. Totally forgot to do this. And also these ones here. So these ones is for the side here. Let me just show you guys right here. This goes here, and you have to drill it to the wall, and the same thing here. So I'll do that later on, but I'll start the inverter now and the battery and see how it goes. So let's start with the battery. So the breaker is currently off. So let me just turn that on. So green means that it's safe, and at the bottom it's off. So now we're gonna turn it on. Okay, so that's done. Off, on. And I believe this is the switch to turn it on. Okay. So it's booting up. And it is at 75%. That's good. So next step would be to turn on the breaker for the battery. So that is on. And this is turning on. Okay. So this is the first startup. So we're at 55% for the battery. 52.7 voltage. We have nothing coming from the grid because we haven't turned on the grid. So we can start potentially turning on the grid as well. Let's see what happens. So this is the 100 amperes here. Go 240 and 60 hertz and 0 PV. Of course, it's at night and it is not connected at all because we have no PV connected. And as for the load, I haven't turned it on now because I'll have to turn off the electricity and turn it on because it's still using the backup from the other one. So I'll do that later, but at least I can start setting this up, and I see that at least the comms cable is working. It's detecting the batteries, and so far everything is good. So I'm gonna set this up on the phone or on the computer to start with, and then after we'll start putting some load, at least this one or that one, and we'll test it even more. So I ended up setting up the inverter. So I went on the portal online and I did all the settings. I can share a screenshot in the description on what I did. So pretty much this is an off-grid, right? So it doesn't send back power to the grid since it's an off-grid inverter, obviously. So in this case, I put it at self-consumption mode. I just want to maximize the solar and the battery. Like I mentioned before, solar is still not connected, but at least everything else is. So I still haven't started powering the sub panel because there's still the backup going. So what I'm going to do is, hold on, I'm just going to show you. The light is still on here. So this is the sub panel. So I will turn it off. So turn it off here. I can turn it off here as well. So I'm just going to turn it off here just to be safe. It's done. And this one as well. So now I'll never have to use that again. So now what I want to do is turn on the load here. So just let me just show you. The power probably went out. There you go. Light is off. And then here, as you can see, 55%, 52.7 volt, and I'm getting 240 and at 60 hertz. Technically, this should power from the battery first, and eventually when it reaches the cutoff, which is, I think right now I put at 20 or 15%, I don't remember the setting I put in, and then it's supposed to switch to the grid as a bypass. So that means grid and then going to the smart load. I mean to the load. I still haven't connected the smart load yet. So let's see. So currently it's off. So green, that means it's off. Red means it's being used. So let's go on. Turn this on. And so far, I don't think anything's being powered. All right, so we'll have to figure out why it's not being powered. So I'm pretty sure it's something really, really small. Here you go. I didn't turn on the EPS output. There you go. Let's see if that works. There you go. Kicked in. And it's providing power. Let's see if the light turned on. Yep. So guys, EPS output here. Turn on. And then now we have power going from the battery here, 420, 460, and then that's going all to the house here. And 0 being pulled from the grid. All right. So now we have a functional inverter. And then here it's blinking because it's being used. It's working. Next one's going to be connecting this to the smart output. So the setup is completely done. So you have the battery, the inverter, the main panel, the sub panel, and the car charger that's actually connected and is being charged as well. I just had to change a few things. The car charger is not connected to the smart load because I realized that the smart load only works in certain parameters and you cannot force start it, which is something that I actually need in this case. So what I did is I actually connected it to the sub panel. So it will still be powered by the inverter, but it will be powered through the sub panel, which I can actually force start this charger as well. So what I did is I put a 60 ampere breaker here, and that's currently being powered to the 1450 here. And as you can see, it's right now charging the car. I put it at 20 amperes for now because I don't need it to charge that fast. And this one is the Pion power. So the Pion power actually gives you money back when you're charging. So this is pretty amazing. So this is still being charged through the inverter with this. So currently I'm pulling 7,000, close to 8,000 here. So the house is pulling, yeah, so 7,200. Yeah. And I guess most of it is the charger and the rest is the house. I know my wife is also cooking. We use the air fryer a lot. So that's what's going on. So the battery is currently 21%. I believe the cutoff is 15%, I think. So at 15, it's supposed to switch to the grid. So let's see how seamless that is. I'll check if I'm losing power, if it's actually going to be a big disconnect, or it's going to be a seamless transfer. So quick here, these are all my circuits here. So you have the 120, 240, which is the car we just added, and you have my dryer. This is the one I'm going to put a lock on it. So this is the backup feed from the main panel. So this is the 100 amperes breaker. It's a 3-gauge wire that's running. And then here, since we had a 60, we put a 60 ampere here, but the cable is at 3-gauge. So 60 usually, it's 6-gauge, but the cable is much bigger. The one that's feeding the inverter is the 100 amperes here. That's for the bypass. So that's the one that's going through here, and it's going to the grid here in case the battery is done. The grid is supposed to take over, so that's the one that's going to bypass to come here directly to the bus bars. So yeah, so installation is done. The only thing left here now is solar. So as you can see, the conduit is there. We just got to bring the solar from here, just cables dangling here. So that's going to be a nice setup. So it's going to come all the way here, and we're going to pass it through most probably one of these entrances, and then they'll feed the this one here. All right. So it seems like it's yellow. Probably I'll go double check what's wrong. Um, it's still feeding the house, but it seems to be yellow. All right, so I just checked the warning, and it's the battery low voltage. Um, so probably the state of charge of the battery is under 20%. So probably that's why it's yellow, but it's still providing. So we're at 16%. So technically, it's supposed to cut off at 15 and take over. That's it, folks. I hope you liked the video. I know it was a very long one. I think this might be the longest one. It's a very detailed one from beginning till the end. I try to show you guys everything I did, from unboxing the products till actually installing them. So I hope it does help. I also want to thank Signature Solar. I bought this from them, and they worked with me sending it to Canada, and through everything related to customs, and even found me a broker to get this product here. So it's really appreciated from them. So for Signature Solar, if you're looking for any products, I do have an affiliate link below in the description. You guys can use it. It's going to help the channel as well. And they're pretty much, they have really good customer service. So even after you buy the products, if you have any issues, if you want to just have technical support setting this up, they'll be more than happy to help you guys. I'm also going to put all the different tools I've used setting this up. So as I mentioned, the torque wrench and all the other small stuff, I'll put them in the description as well. And if you have any questions about the installation, about stuff I used or could have used, or things that I could have done differently, please don't hesitate to write in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to read them, and I usually try to answer all of your questions. And also let me know what other videos should I be doing now that I have the new battery, the new system here with the EG4 12000XP version 2. If there's any details you want to know about these stuff too, I can do more videos. So thank you guys for watching, and take care.